Good morning, everybody. Let's get some charts up here. Good morning. Good morning. So it looks like we're getting a little tech catch up. And I can't wait to see where these Qs end the day, since bottom of the range, top of the range. And now, as they're up here, they got a little bit more room, I guess, to the top of the topping tail area there. And you can see right up there, blast off, pull back, continuation. And so this is where the heavy lifting begins. Sellers were up here before aggressively. We assume they're going to show up again, either to take profits, maybe to short. And now what's the reaction? They hold up here, they blast through it, go sideways. 326 is the gamma level. Interesting. That was pretty cool stuff, McGraw. I mean, all their terminology, I got to get my head around that. I don't know if they have like a little short course or something like that, because, they got some good stuff, but it's a little, I don't know, not condensed in a way that I guess any kind of learning process that's new. But anyway, looking at their site, they don't seem to have much stuff there that explains their method. Anyway, key levels and so on coming together with what we look at seems like pretty good information. So we'll get to the Qs there. No matter what, we always look to the left, right? What's the trend? Is there a void? And this kind of move creates a void below. There's now support below here, since it's cleared some resistance, but it's coming up to the next resistance area. And the likelihood it's going to stall, because who wants to buy at resistance besides idiots? Without some kind of correction pattern, correction bar, consolidation pattern, so on. So most interesting will be at the end of the day what the weekly chart looks like, because we've had this break below this wide range bar and chopping around, threatening to drop. And, 2 weeks ago, I started talking about the potential for a head and shoulders bottom, right? And then someone in the room said, Greg, well, what about this area here being a head and shoulders top? And I said, you got a point. And as it started to roll over, it looked like that was going to follow through. And then we got the bottoming tail and it came back up again. And so if this bottom actually holds and this clears here, the implications are it's going to push up to the highs. So seeing where this closes at the end of the day, if it's up at the high or a little better, of course, the implications are it goes up next week. And if it breaks below this week's low, next week, look out below. But, we don't know that's going to happen. But the chart right now is saying that the uncertainty created, the damage created by this pullback is being repaired by this sideways price action. And, yesterday's rally, and then, the overnight follow through. We'll see how much it actually holds up. So Qs, 326 is a gamma level. Well, I don't know about gamma, but 326. So where is it here? 323. It's trading at 323, right up at resistance, of course, just like the futures. Same story. How does it react to that? Now, what you're saying, 326 is a gamma level. Well, what the hell does that mean? If it's supposed to mean if it gets through that, it's going to run higher, of course. But after gapping up from here to here and into resistance, it's not going to do that with any authority immediately. So the price level of resistance is right here, where it's going to open up, give or take. And we'll just see how this plays out. And just looking at 326. 6. So 320 and 315 have a big open interest. Well, it's not going down to 315. 320 pulling back to there after being there, maybe. So what was resistance becomes support. And we'll see if that actually plays out. And so far, strength went into resistance. Now, if you could direct me to some of the explanations of their terminology and implications, that would be helpful for me to help you for sure, and us all. I'm not opposed to new ideas, and if I see it makes sense that it kind of blends with our method to put the odds even more in our favor. So, all of this is based, what I'm talking about here, some of you in Facebook, not Facebook, YouTube might be thinking about it. It's gamma related to open interest and options and what market makers have to do to hedge open option positions and so on, and the implications of that driving the markets in one way or the other, or providing support and resistance. So it's all, I like what I'm looking at initially. It needs to be dumbed down a bit because some of it's brain damage, but I think we can incorporate some of this information to help us make more money. All right, let's move on. Spiders, right? 398. 98. All right, so right up here, knocking on that door again, trying to poke through to get to that 400. All right, and SPX there. Kind of weird how it backed off yesterday, isn't it? Just such strength throughout the day, and then, I know this. It's a high level up there where whether it's open interest or just the big whole number. But what's interesting about this market, and I've seen it to some extent in the past, I don't know about as much as this one, but it's amazing how bullish and how institutions can be falling all over themselves to buy and bid something up, and then all of a sudden run for the hills like what happened 4 hours ago never occurred. It's the extreme in emotions and bias changing so abruptly and violently. It's like a schizo situation. Anyway, markets change. That's what makes it interesting. You have to adjust. So I'm going to say, SPX, anything above 4,000, I think should be okay. Just look at whatever the premiums are. And here. Yeah, they're shorting up at 4,000. Makes sense, big whole number. First time getting up there, trying to poke through, not going to be so easy. And, so the downside, 39.40. I'm just looking at the swing low there. If that makes sense. This thing to update, huh? I'm just looking here. Hold on. There's nothing there. Well, this isn't updating. I have to look at my other system, no time, but I would suspect that there's premium down here at 39.40 or less. Ken's asking me the market, does I mean that the market doesn't care about what I want? It's frustrated the hell out of me, Ken. I've been doing this almost 30 years. Market could give a damn what I want. But you know what? When I see what it's doing, I know in the moment what it's going to do next. And a lot of times that happens. But when it changes its mind in the moment, I'm like, you crazy SOB. Kind of and it happens. Right. All right. So NQs, we already looked at. YM, just jiggling up there for days, not going anywhere, was the underperformer, started to underperform. Russell, kind of grinding its way up there toward the 20. And don't know what to expect much here today. With everything at resistance, maybe well, back and filling, but NASDAQ still looks like pretty good. And, XLK, backed off at the end of the day, kind of weird. Now it's popping back up. If the NASDAQ, this bottoming action in the Qs, and then tech here holds up here today, like I said, that looks to me like tech's going to play catch up. And, everybody's talking, these talking heads on CNBC, no more tech, interest rates going up, so on and so forth. But maybe, maybe this double tops up here on the 10-year. At least it pulls back a little bit, and that probably helps tech rally. Let's finish up here. So, see bonds. We talked about yesterday about the new low reversal poking up here today. Crude oil, holding its own, not doing much. Gold, right, had the rally day yesterday. I saw this, got in right away, almost at the open, and sold it as it ran up here. Wasn't around for the rest of that, but that was an awesome trade when they just fly like that. They don't give you any little heartburn along the way. So that was good. And silver, right, turnaround. So, we've been looking at this level for a while, and buyers are starting to take hold there. And transports. New all-time highs. Right? Dow is close to around their new all-time highs, looking good. So, things still holding up here, a little choppy action and so on, but we'll see how today ends. And if we see tech opening up near the high, closing near the high, it certainly looks like things should continue higher next week. And if they don't, well, we'll start over again. So sentiment just touched the top of the green band. I would preferred would have been a little more to the downside, and neutral breath. And yesterday, look at the last 2 days. Breath is just terrible, terrible considering this move up. And sentiment day to day is kind of about where it was, backed off again a little bit. So internals haven't been, giving us any signals recently, like here. And so we'll see how this shapes up today. All yours, Dan.
All righty. Good morning. So we are very heavily bullish here in terms of our open positions. So everything looks fine. We have like a dozen put spreads half of them expired today, half of them for next week. I posted a couple more that I like for today. The absolute only, well, let's see, we have two retracing here. The only red ones in my minder, CDW, I don't see any prints, but in the minder it says it's down $1. And J&J down a little bit. There was some news about, I don't know, their vaccine having to redo a batch or something like that, but everything's great. I tried posting them all in here pre-market, but I made a lot of updates on stops. So let's just go right to some gappers. Next, yesterday MT Live, we did retracements, obviously. Yeah, got a lot of great compliments on that. And next week, we're going to do bottoming patterns just because we've been seeing so many of them lately. And here's one that jumps out at me. Is that a quality bottoming pattern? My answer would be no, unless we get what I call a something something bar. I need a reversal. Otherwise, it's just a bearish consolidation and downtrend. But today it's gapping up. So is that a significant gap? Well, it could be the start of one. I mean, look at, it's gapping over 5 bars highs. So it could be. Let me write this one down. Obviously, work on it this weekend, and tomorrow, this is the last day of the trading week. Easter tomorrow, so no financial markets are closed. Jose, SNOA. 969. The gap's too big for me. I mean, look where it's gapping. Just because it's a bullish gap doesn't mean it's a tradable gap. TFT. Now this one's better because it's a gap breakout, and yes, it's big, but and I actually posted it in our Telegram that it's a gap breakout, and I want to keep an eye on it. So that's actually another flavor of a bottoming pattern, right? It was way up here, got slammed. Now it's in a trading range, black 20 and 50, and now it's a gap breakout. So a gap breakout is exactly what it means. Here's another good gapper I like on earnings. Riot here, we have the gap reversal. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 bullish bars, and it's gapping right here. So 15-minute high, I like this. Start off day trade long and also put spread. Let's see, Sun W I also posted. This is a solar stock. Another bottoming pattern. Had an attempted breakout yesterday. I like the weekly. I got a higher low retest on the 20, and I got a big price void. I mean, if this gets itself going, $20 shouldn't be unrealistic at all. So for a $15 stock to 20, that's 33% return. So I like this one a lot. AMD, another bottoming pattern. It's not a W pattern because this retracement was too deep. So therefore I just call it a retest pattern. And so it's a gap up from retest. Yeah, semis are very strong today. So that 30-minute high, day trade, and also put spread. I mean, yesterday we were finding put spreads left and right. Space here, it's a retest pattern, gapping up. I posted this as a short put idea. Even MJ's gapping up, but then you see it got slammed in a gap fill. This thing you got to be patient with. We're short the 2250 puts, and I said over a 5-minute high, we're gonna sell on some more puts. Same with Qualcomm, we're short 131 naked puts, and over 30-minute high, I said let's do it again. Let's sell the 130 puts for next week. AMAT we're in. So yeah, semis are doing great. So I moved the stop under this pivot for AMAT, and we're just going to trail mode. Fizzler is another solar that we're in, gapping up. That looks great. TLS gapping down. It's gapping down, so but it's in the middle of a range now. It's a bearish gap, but possibly a condor. Jake, yeah, there you go. It's kind of a big gap, but now it's range bound and it's a retested major support. I wish it wasn't gapping up as much, like maybe 48. I'd like it a lot. The bigger it gaps, for me, it just lessens the reward to risk. Sun W, we just talked about MJ space, FT, we've talked about all those. This thing's gapping down on earnings. I don't know, maybe day trade short, 30-minute low. WDC is in some deal. I think they're WDC and MU. That's a bullish gap. Not MU. There. So MU had earnings. No, there's no pattern though. So I don't know if MU is the reason that semis are strong today, right? We talked about AL had earnings. I can't tell where you're gapping. UAVS. It's kind of a retest pattern, gapping up to 740. Could be the start. Could be the start, 30-minute high. XL has just been in a bearish downtrend here. Now, see, some people might say, oh, okay, is this bottoming? And then, I'm always thinking about the slides that I need to make. And I think it was Detective, yes, a couple, 2 days ago said, Dan, what is a bottoming pattern? So I'm like, you know what? I have to, I have to make a slide on what is a bottoming pattern, right? I kind of just took that for granted. And then I need to make a slide of signs, SIGNS, of bottoming, right? Doesn't that make sense? What is a bottoming pattern? If that's what you're going to teach me, what are the signs of bottoming? So I'll be working on that over the weekend. Yeah, we've talked about that already. Yeah, I already posted that as a put spread, but also you can, let's see what it does as a directional or not. Here, let me get it for you. I think I did, yeah, I did naked because the out of the money ones were spreading. I just got a up alarm on our AMAT 138. Very nice moves there. That was a great trade. We found that when we were scanning semis, the SM, we scanned, I think there's 47 components in SMH, and this was the absolute best one. And then it busted a move last Friday, and then we were watching it. And remember yesterday, retracement concepts, both pivot to pivot, and Qs are popping pre-market here. So we got a bullish bias. I said the same retracement concepts apply to WRBs. So these were two bullish inside consolidation bars in the upper half. The spa people from the mall, not from the mall, from the airports, posted earnings, no pattern. A wing, retest pattern. There's another bottoming one. You see how there's so many bottoming patterns, which, with the markets at all-time highs, what does that tell you? That tells me that a lot of things have been selling off. Wow, look at a tick, 1200. Man, oh Oh, man,
Sell, damn, sell.
bullish open. So that's telling me, I mean, look at this, wing in 2 months, $55, 1 month. So this is also a bottoming pattern. But you know, the gap's too big, so there's nothing for me to do with it. Synopsis alarm just went off. All right, so let's sell a third under a trail of 5-minute bars low. That was a nice, see, that was another bottoming pattern.